Did you know that walking might not be the best way to stay strong after 65? I used to walk every morning, thought I was doing enough. But one day, I slipped just getting up from my favorite chair. That's when I realized my legs weren't what they used to be. Have you noticed yourself slowing down lately? Feeling stiff, tired, maybe a little unsteady on your feet? You're not alone, and trust me, there are better ways to protect your body than just walking. Let me show you 5 simple things I started doing. They've helped me feel steadier, sleep deeper, and move better than I have in years. Let's take a look together. 1. Avoid sitting too long. After that fall, I began to notice something else. I was sitting a lot. Reading the newspaper, watching television, sitting at meals, resting in my recliner. Hours would pass, and I'd barely move. At first, it didn't seem like a problem. After all, isn't rest part of getting older? But over time, I felt my legs getting weaker. Standing up took more effort. Walking across the room left me feeling off balance. The truth is, sitting too much slowly robs us of our strength. When we sit for long stretches, blood flow slows down. Our muscles stop working the way they should. Joints stiffen, our back aches. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. I've seen friends go from walking freely to needing a cane, then a walker. Not because of illness, but because of stillness. It's a quiet thief, one that steals our independence a little each day. That's why I started a simple rule: stand up every hour. Even just for a minute or two. I stretch, I walk to the kitchen, I take a few steps outside. Sometimes I march in place while waiting for my coffee. It may sound small, but that's the secret. Little movements done often keep your legs alive. They keep your heart pumping, your balance strong, and your mind awake. I'm not running marathons, I'm just moving. And that movement, it's brought life back into my days. So if you've been sitting for a while, I say stand up with me now. Take a deep breath, stretch your arms, feel your feet. You're not done yet, not even close. 2. Sleep better. Once I started moving more during the day, I noticed another issue. Even with all that effort, I still woke up tired. Some nights, I'd lie awake for hours. Other times, I'd fall asleep quickly, but wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. And in the morning, it felt like I hadn't rested at all. Sleep used to come easy. Now it feels like a puzzle I can't solve. But here's what I've learned. As we age, sleep becomes even more important than before. It's the body's way of healing, clearing the mind, and restoring energy. When we don't sleep well, everything feels harder. We forget things, we feel anxious, our bodies ache more. A tired mind makes a tired life. I used to think poor sleep was just part of getting older, but it doesn't have to be. I began making small changes. I turned off the television and put my phone away an hour before bed. No scrolling, no late-night news. I dimmed the lights, lit a candle, Saturday quietly with a book or some soft music. Sometimes I even took a warm shower to relax. And I paid attention to my bedroom. I made sure it was cool, dark, and quiet. No ticking clocks, no blinking lights, just peace. The difference surprised me. I started falling asleep more easily. I woke up less, and when I did wake up, I could fall back asleep. Mornings began to feel fresh again. Good sleep doesn't just help you feel rested. It sharpens your mind. It calms your heart. And most of all, it gives you the strength to move through the day with purpose. So if your nights have been restless, know this: you're not alone. But you do have the power to rest better. Start tonight. Your body will thank you tomorrow. 3. Get sunlight every day. Not long after I started sleeping better, I noticed something strange. My mood was still low. I felt slow, even on days when I had slept well and moved around. There was a kind of heaviness I couldn't shake. One morning, I stepped outside to check the mail. The sun was just rising. The light was soft and golden. I stood there for a moment, letting it warm my face. And something shifted inside me. It felt like my body remembered something it had forgotten. Sunlight. Something so simple yet so powerful. As we get older, Our bodies don't make vitamin D like they used to, but we need it. Vitamin D helps our bones stay strong. It keeps our muscles working. And, maybe just as important, it lifts our mood. We spend so much time indoors. Curtains drawn, television on, lights off during the day. But our bodies are meant to feel the sun. Now, every morning, I make it a habit. Just 10 minutes outside. Sometimes I water the plants. Sometimes I sit on the porch with my coffee. Sometimes I simply stand by the door and breathe. It doesn't need to be long. Just enough to feel the warmth on your skin. Just enough to let your body know it's daytime. That it's time to move, to feel alive.
I found that those few minutes change everything. I feel lighter, more awake, more connected to the world around me. It's easy to forget the sun when life slows down, but it hasn't forgotten you. Step outside, feel the light, let it in. 4. Simple leg exercises at home. After I started getting outside more, I felt better. But there was still one thing that worried Mimi legs. They didn't feel as steady as before. Climbing stairs took effort. Getting up from a chair felt harder each week. One afternoon, I nearly lost my balance just turning around in the kitchen. I caught myself, but it scared me. That was the moment I knew I had to do something. Not later. Not someday. Now. You see, when our legs get weak, life changes. Suddenly, everyday things like walking to the bathroom or getting out of bed become dangerous. Falls aren't just accidents. They can take away our independence in a second. So I made a promise to myself. I would move my legs every day. Not by walking far, not by joining a gym, but right here in my own home. I started simple. I held onto the back of a chair and did a few small squats. Slow, steady, and gentle. Then, while watching television, I lifted one leg at a time. Just a few inches off the floor, but it made a difference. Later, I added a resistance band around my thighs. Not much, but enough to remind my muscles they still had a job to do. Now, my legs feel stronger. I can stand longer, move with more confidence, and most of all, I feel safe. It doesn't take much, just a few minutes a day, but those minutes, they give you freedom. The freedom to move, to live, to stand tall, even when the world wants you to sit down. So if you're reading this right now, try it. Stand beside your chair. Hold on. Bend your knees just a little. Feel your legs working. They're still with you. And they're worth every step. 5. Practice yoga or Tai Chi. Once my legs began to feel stronger, I started thinking beyond just movement. I wanted balance not just in my body, but in my mind. Something to calm the racing thoughts. Something to help me feel centered, especially on days when the world felt too fast, too loud. That's when I discovered something simple and powerful. Gentle movement with breath. For me, it began with a short video of an older man doing Tai Chi in a quiet park. His motions were slow, graceful like a dance with the air. There was no rush, no pressure, just peace. I stood up and tried it. It felt strange at first, but after a few minutes, I felt a quiet settle in. My shoulders dropped, my breath slowed, and something inside me softened. Later, I added simple yoga stretches. Nothing fancy, no need to twist like a pretzel, just gentle poses, guided by breath, a seated stretch, a stand and reach, a moment with my eyes closed, hands on my heart. These small practices gave me what I didn't know I was missing: stillness. And in that stillness, I found strength. My balance improved. The stiffness in my joints eased. And, perhaps most important of all, my spirit lifted. You don't need a special mat. You don't need to be flexible. You only need a quiet corner and a few minutes each day. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who did yoga or Tai Chi, but here I am. And it's one of the best things I've done for myself. If you're feeling scattered, tense, or just a little lost, breathe, move slowly. Let your body and your mind meet in the middle. There's peace waiting there, and it belongs to you. So here we are, 5 simple things. Stand more, sleep deeper, feel the sun, move your legs, breathe with intention. They may seem small, but they've changed my life. And if they help me, they might help you too. Start with just one today. Your body will notice. Your spirit will thank you. If something in this video spoke to you, leave a comment. share it with a friend who might need it. And if you like more gentle wisdom like this, go ahead and subscribe. We're in this together.